But it was actually at the second World Cup. So we went from Nevegal and then drove from there straight to Sierra Nevada, south of Spain, for my second World Cup downhill. And they introduced a demonstration dual slalom race.
Nice.
So straight away, even at my second World Cup, I've just finished BMX, I'm here, and I put dual slalom on, and I finished second to Brian Lopes at that first race. I just remember being real foggy. I don't know much about track. It was just some gates, but it was a gate start. I think it was a motocross backward falling gate, but still it was like a 1, 2, 3, 4 out the gate. Just get going. Left, right, left, right, left, right. End up finishing second behind Lopes, who obviously I knew from BMX. So I was like, okay. So I just got like 90th in the downhill, but I got second here, and that carried photos in the magazines. So the magazines, use those images. I was on the podium second. I don't think anyone did that well that weekend in that downhill. So I became a bit of the story that weekend, even though it was just a demonstration thing and just trying to start something new at World Cup downhills. So from there, so gate started from there. So I was really starting to do those already. And it was the following year that dual became a World Cup discipline. So he took dual slalom out of the equation, put 2 rides on the same track. And so I continued to do downhill and dual for those next few years.
Because they're at the same venue.
Saturday dual,
Dream.
Sunday downhill.
Yeah.
The first one, I travelled out there with Will Longdon. Me and Will used to travel, most of these races together. We like travel buddies. And even in that second year, my sort of, still getting used to mountain biking. I remember in that second year, we went to the airport for Stellenbosch, which was the World Cup in South Africa, round 1. And I think our excess baggage bill was like $4,000, I'm going to say. So we stood at the check-in, and he's calling MBUK, I'm calling Kona, and just saying, we need a couple of grand, for bags here. Because we were obviously taking downhill and dual bikes at that time. And in the end, ultimately, 20 minutes ago before the flight they paid the money. So off we went. But again, different times, you just phone up and people just give you credit cards to just pay $2,000 for excess, no problem, So that was cool. Went to that first one, first ever dual World Cup, and it was a 14-second track, which is 14 seconds, right? So it was just bodged into the last finish straight at the downhill. And you went out to start, it had a 90-degree left, along a little bit, a right, and then down to the finish, and that was it. So 2 corners, right? And it ultimately...
Tight times there.
And because you're on the same track, if you're on the outside gate, you had no chance, because the inside gate took the lead, ran you wide, they won the race. So, but I think I did okay. I got to quarterfinals. Obviously, you've got Shaun Palmer and those kind of guys starting to come in now as well. And so you've got Lopes and Cully and Carter and Palmer. These guys all being dual sort of specialists. And I'm still super young. I'm 18 at this point, just wide-eyed and, pretty cool.
Dual is quite, in terms of, dual is quite an MTB discipline. You're flat cornering, right?
Well, this was dual. This was both riders on the same track.
Yeah.
This was the carnage sort of.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So this is not dual slalom.
So dual slalom was the first year I did it in Sierra Nevada. They had dual slalom gates.
Okay, so this is dual eliminator.
But this is dual eliminator, yeah. But it was called dual, D-U-A-L. Oh, no, D-U-E-L.
E-L,
and dual slalom, D-U-A-L slalom, yeah. So D-U-E-L, dual.
Okay, sorry.
So, yes, and then, everything I'd ever learned, so, I mean, you won BMX races by getting out of the gate, winning, or passing someone, and that was it. Whereas dual became this survival of the fittest. You were just hitting people, getting hit, and somehow, I was, definitely wasn't one of the biggest guys at that point. You're up against these Wade Boots, guy's an animal, he's a big dude, and so I was good at outsmarting these guys. I had track craft, and I was quite nimble because I was smaller than those guys. So I was ducking and diving better than they could. So they might have the power on the first straight, but I was ducking and diving and avoiding some of the carnage. So ended up finishing, I think the first year I got 5th overall in the World Cup. So that was cool. And next few years, I was really hovering around that 4th, 5th, 6th position all the time. Few second positions and, on podiums with Lopes and with Cully. Amazing memories, you know what I mean? That's pretty cool. John Tomac.
Wow.
So I'm racing John Tomac in dual races. So that's kind of cool.
That's sick. But they at every World Cup? downhill then? There'd just be a dual?
Yeah.
Okay, and how was your mentality there? What were you just getting through the downhill so you could focus on the dual, or was
the mentality was I was there for downhill still, but I was really good at the dual.
Right.
So I'd practice loads on the Friday, like really put a shift in, like try and get loads of downhill time in, and then do a couple of runs Saturday morning, and really switch to dual mode,
Right.
and then as soon as dual was finished, get right back into downhill for a Sunday.
Yeah.
So yes, I was trying to split my time wisely, as it would be. But yeah, those days, you know, having that on a Saturday, having that head-to-head stuff on a Saturday and a downhill Sunday, I still think to this day is what the World Cup is missing. I think it adds something for the spectators. It brings a different athlete into the races. I think it was super cool. But obviously then going into like early 2000s, dual, because Eurosport TV were filming all back then as well, you know, our World Cups. And I think Eurosport were getting frustrated that dual was becoming just who can knock each other off and the other guy wins. It wasn't as frequent as I think a lot of people regard that era as there were loads of crashes. It wasn't that bad, but there are some real famous ones still kicking around YouTube, you know what I mean? So it was sort of famous for it, but when you actually like real drill down on it, it wasn't as bad as it seems. But Eurosport did want to remove some of the crashing.
Right.
So it was Eurosport and UCI developed four cross. So you put 4 rides on a track, top 2 going through each time. To really take that emphasis of knocking people off, you had to try and smart your way into second place.
That was one of my questions to you, who actually invented four cross?
Yeah,
so it was the UCI and Eurosport putting together something.
There's a few people lay claim to it. There was some demonstration races before then. Some people had ideas and whatever, but it was those guys in the World Cup who just put it on the map and said, right, here you go. This is what we're going to do going forwards. And so that's when I started to change my focus from downhill, still doing it. You know, and at that point I was getting like, you know, anywhere in the top 50. So I was getting sort of 20s, 30s, 40s every weekend on downhill. So I was decent.
Yeah.
But I wasn't ever going to win. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't ever but four cross, we were at the sharp end from the word go. Like that was really, I guess I just found my calling. That was really the point. I was like, I like this. This is like BMX on steroids.
Al can race against 3 other dudes.
Yeah, and it also like BMX. When I left BMX in mid-90s, you know, the tracks they were good, they were fine, but there weren't like super big jumps or anything.
Not
Whereas
progressive.
four cross brought in some like booters, you know, some serious jumps and some serious obstacles, and I was ready for it. It was the right time.
So to people that weren't kind of there, okay. Hey man, what an episode that was. You did amazing in it.
And so did you.
You shone like a star.
You shone like a moon.
Can we also put something up here that you can click on for the next episode?
How about we put a subscribe up there in the middle?
Yeah,
We're going to put a video we think that our lovely companionship will love on your face.
On my face?
Yeah.
So
and
they
on
can't see me now?
Gone. And on my face, another video that we think people will love. And thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Please hit like and subscribe. You guys are the best.
Peace and love.